The main reason is that I left my country due to persecution against the journalists in general, and I'm one of the journalists who have to fled Somalia because of their profession.
How was your departure from Somalia?
I left Somalia due to systematic persecution against journalists and against me. So fearing for my safety, I had to leave my country and flee, look for safety outside. The professional staff that, as a journalist, I produce have released threats and persecution against me. So I didn't have any other option but to leave my country.
And do you have a family still in your country, or your family is here with you?
I am alone here, and my family is in a country, a neighbor to my country, in Ethiopia. So they are living in Ethiopia. Actually, when I was traveling, I didn't have an option to choose Belgium as a country, but I ended up casually in Belgium for a reason or another.
And how did you feel when you arrived here? What was your feeling?
My feeling in general was just to apply international protection in any other country. Then I have started to lodge application for international protection, and I'm now waiting for the decision of that application.
Can you explain how was the situation in your country?
As many people may know, my country, Somalia, is listed on top of the countries, the most dangerous countries to work for the media in the world. And it's because of the targeted killing against journalists, assassinations, threats, closing down media outlets, or confiscating tools like cameras and all other things from journalists, and suppressing and oppressing them just because of simply they are truth tellers, not to tell the truth. Uh, the parties in Somalia, all parties to the conflict in Somalia, don't want to see any information out that could damage their reputation or that could put them for trial in the future, so that they are trying to oppress maximum in the maximum way to all media outlets and media practitioners and journalists, and persecuting them systematically. So as if I take example like 2019, there were a lot of arbitrary arrests against journalists that I have been, and I'm now referring to websites, professional websites for media freedom, who report on arbitrary arrests and assassinations and so on. There were a lot of media practitioners or journalists being arrested in Somalia only last year. So imagine, let alone those who have been killed. So the situation is worse and very bad for journalists and for media in general.
Do you have a job here, or you are in transition?
My situation here is that I have applied for international protection, and I'm now waiting for the decision in refugee camp here in Mechelen. So in between, I've learned the local language, Netherlands, to the level 1.2. So it's kind of start till I get a decision for my situation.
Is it possible to continue the website here, or it was just in the country?
I'm just collaborating with different websites. From time to time, I contribute, I write some articles. So I'm still trying to keep with my profession.
Do you think it will be possible one day to return in your country and practice journalism?
I hope. because we don't know what will happen in future, and I would like to see my country in peace so that I can go back.
Can you explain what was your emotion when it was an obligation for you to leave your country? Your personal emotion.
That's that's the most difficult decision a human being can take, to leave your home country, to keep away or leave your beloved people, your family, your house. I mean, people with whom you have been working with is a very difficult situation. It's a very difficult decision. But before you take that kind of decision, there must be something that compels you to take that decision. So you can imagine the situation was much more dangerous, so that I had to take a decision to leave. But I know still there is a danger that's awaiting for anyone who's now working in Somalia or who wants now to go back to work in Somalia. There were already some journalists who went back to Somalia in this time, and they were killed. And there are a lot of many examples for that. So I mean, the situation is still dangerous.
Do you have the statute of refugees now? Is it official or is it just in transition?
I'm waiting for a decision for the authority to say you are officially recognized a refugee in Belgium, and I hope it will. In general, I want to talk about the media freedom, press freedom, like countries like in Somalia. There are many countries where media freedom or press freedom is in danger or in jeopardy, like in Iraq or Syria, but also Somalia is one of the top countries to work for the media. So from year to year, we see the index is absolutely always showing high numbers of journalists being killed, high numbers of journalists being assassinated, kidnapped, or media outlets being closed down, or something like that. So now it seems like the world is a kind of demonstrating kind of interest to help with the situation with press freedom. And it was last year there was a press freedom conference was held in London, where some big governments contributed to and pledged to help. What I can say is that such a courageous pledge is needed for the press freedom to be practicable in countries like Somalia, where impunity, when someone kills a journalist, would have to escape with his crime. Very simply, this must end, because this is impunity. When someone makes something and it's not being punished, that's impunity. So putting this impunity to its end also is a courageous step forward. And if all journalists around the world make solidarity for press freedom, I hope the impunity for perpetrators against those who harass journalists or kill or try to oppress can be reduced. This is my view. So I hope there will be better years or better days to come for the press freedom if efforts are joined together to fight against the impunity for perpetrators against the press freedom.